You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, this is Jessie. How y'all doing out there tonight? Yes, I'm running a few minutes behind schedule. I went to log into my soundboard and somehow everything had been switched to Spanish. Well, I don't read or speak Spanish, so I went scratch, and then had to reload everything and clear all my cookies and my history and all my web browsing stuff so I could get everything to load up right. So sorry about that brief technical delay, but I am here, and boy, yeah, I know, tired line, a lot going on in this world, but I have something special for you guys I've been promising for a while. You know how I do the sound effects. Kim Jong-un is quackers. I've been telling you I need to get one for Bashar al-Assad. Well, there it is. Bashar al-Assad. So, yes, and that's allegedly an angry chipmunk. And now that's no offense to Alvin and the Chipmunks. Those guys are good. I like them. So, like I said, I finally got it. Took the time to get a sound effect for Bashar al-Assad. Yes, so there's a lot going on in this world, and I know you've heard some of this stuff, but I try and find a couple of things that maybe you haven't heard, or at least haven't heard from that angle. So, just a reminder, my show is live on KLRN Radio at 9 o'clock every night, Monday through Friday. Now, I am going to be doing a special Memorial Day episode on Monday. Haven't decided if I'm going to do it live or if I'm just going to pre-record it and relax and enjoy the evening. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of relaxing and enjoying the evening going on. But yours truly has not made up their mind. So I guess I'll have to tell you tomorrow night. Yes, I will be here tomorrow night. Alright, and if you want to interact with me while I'm on air, you can head on over to klrnradio.com/chat, or just find the chat room link on the menu at the top of the screen. Easy thing to find. Or you can tag me in a tweet at Jessie's POV. So there's a lot going on as always, and I had a couple of audio clips that I really wanted to play last night but didn't get to. So we're probably going to kick those off in just a moment. I really do try to keep some of the stuff pretty interesting. I try and let you hear the sources. I kind of have this don't take my word for it policy. Here's what they said. Take them at their word. So I know that's kind of probably a different twist. And I also believe, even if I have to run a slightly longer clip than your mainstream media would, I also believe don't take them out of context. That's just bad news. All right, I'm discussing Operation Inherent Resolve. There's a lot going on in Raqqa and Mosul. Most of it doesn't make the news, and the mainstream media is really horrible about reporting on it. So, why don't we take a listen to one of the clips I did not get to last night?
Hey, thanks, Michael. I appreciate that question. And clearly, Old Mosul provides a significant challenge. What I would tell you is that, first off, we have had the opportunity to characterize and study that area for a significant period of time. And as you alluded to, we are doing everything possible to, number one, understand the area, and then number two, as we work with our team on the ground, have ourselves situated in a manner that allows us to, one, understand that we've got the right weapons available to us. Number two, understand that as we select those specific weapons, we select the appropriate types of fusing to ensure that we minimize any collateral damage. And then three, what I would offer to you, as we operate in this area, we have found, without talking to specific tactics, that we have some capabilities, in particular with our RPAs, that provide us several opportunities when the enemy presents themselves to target them. And I would offer that we learned a lot from operations in CERT in Libya that we've been able to carry into this environment. That's been very effective as we've tried to understand how to best employ air power in Old Mosul.
Now, this is from the Operation Inherent Resolve press update yesterday, and he is discussing the old city of Mosul, where, as I reminded you on air yesterday, they can't just drive in armored vehicles. Armored vehicles do not fit through the streets. So, and they do try and minimize civilian casualties. Now, we'll get to the story about the 100 civilian deaths in just a moment. I've got one more clip I wanted to play from that.
Yes, sir. We have used air power there, and as I highlighted there, it's been a combination of specific platforms we put over the top combined with the tactics, techniques, and procedures, leveraging, quite frankly, some of the experience we gained in Libya along with...
Okay, kind of repeating himself. I've got one more clip. Let's hope I don't recall what this one said, but let's hope he's singing at least a little bit of a different tune.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Tony, for that question. So, a couple things. First off, what I would offer to you, in particularly over the last couple months here, we've had simultaneity in our action with respect to what's been happening in Mosul and Raqqa. And as our ground forces maneuver, we're finding that's when the enemy is going to present themselves. And with the assets that we've had overhead, we've been able to be very effective anytime the enemy shows themselves, that we've been able to target them and leverage our precision munitions. Having said that, I also would offer to you that we have refined our targeting process and become more efficient in layering our ISR to uncover targets that have made themselves available to us, which also have facilitated the number of weapons we've been able to deliver. So I think it's a combination of those two specific points that have facilitated and allowed us to be more aggressive with getting after the enemy, and at the same time remain true to the precision targeting and target development that we've used over time.
All right, so the U.S. and coalition air power is determined to use targeted airstrikes whenever possible, and they are conscious of the human lives on the ground. Now, that brings me to the first story today. Let me find it in my show prep. My show prep, some of it got a little turned around, so we're going to have to take a second to find it. Yes, I'm taking just a second to thumb through everything and find it. So, alright, Pentagon confirms airstrike killed more than 100 civilians in Mosul. Blames Daesh explosives. For those of you who are new to the show, Daesh and ISIS or ISIL are the same thing. They have too many names. They're evil. Let's just agree on that. A U.S.-led airstrike carried out on a building in Mosul in March detonated a cache of Daesh explosives, killing more than 100 Iraqi civilians. An unclassified summary of the U.S. military investigation into the March 17 incident determined that the 500-pound bombs used in the airstrike set off additional explosives that were placed in the building by Daesh, causing the collapse of the structure. The blast killed 2 Daesh snipers and 105 civilians, including 4 in an adjacent house in western Mosul's Al-Jadidiyah district. 36 additional civilians who were allegedly killed could not be accounted for because of insufficient evidence to determine their status or whereabouts. Now, in the days after the strike, there were some reports said more than 200 bodies were pulled from the rubble. That strike is probably the single deadliest civilian casualty incident in the nearly 3-year-old campaign against Daesh. The U.S. Air Coalition did sharply decrease the number of sorties over Mosul in April following public outcry. And they opened an investigation, which this is what this is from. It does appear that civilians were herded there by Daesh to be used as human shields. Now, how the U.S. forces failed to observe the mass of people entering the building, that could have been because they were using tunnels. Daesh has taken a page out of an old playbook, and they use tunnels to move troops and munitions around to try and stay out of sight of the drones and satellites that are constantly overhead. And the additional explosives planted in the building were GBU-38, were not entirely consistent with GBU-38, which was the bomb that was selected because it could penetrate the roof while minimizing risk to collateral structures. But it did set off the bombs that Daesh had planted. So Daesh is, I've said this before, I'll say it again. They use the humans as shields. They are the epitome of evil. Alright, I think I've got one more audio clip, and then we are going from the latest Operation Inherent Resolve press briefing, and then we are going to take a commercial. Well, then we'll be almost ready to take our commercial break.
I know many of you are tracking what has occurred over the last couple of days in Atomf and the situation there. And you can be sure that in the pure quantity of phone calls, it increased because, again, what we're trying to do is drive down the ambiguity and make sure we're clear on our intent and portray it in a manner that says, hey, here's where we're at. If we feel threatened, we're going to take action. So to answer your question specifically, I would say it would be pure numbers of phone calls in a manner that allows us to be more clear or get clarity from them if we're not clear on their intentions.
He is referring to the incident where the U.S. basically opened fire on Syrian government forces approaching Tabqa Dam. And they've tried to deconflict with the Syrians and Russians as much as possible. Unfortunately, both parties aren't always receptive to such things. What can I say? There's not a whole lot that can be said when one part of the equation isn't listening to the other part. Alright, as a reminder, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can catch me in the chat room over on KLRNRadio.com. Yes, I am there. You can chat with me, type a question, tag me in a tweet. You can also, if you're listening on Memorex, yes, you can still interact with me. Just send me an email at the station at jessespov@klrnradio.com. I do check my email. I do monitor it. And I do answer all of your emails. So, on that note, folks, because I got a late start, we are going to take our commercial break on time. And I will see you on the other side.
If you wanna, you can pretend that this is totally okay. If you wanna, you can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country needing you right now. But I don't wanna.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes Most riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna.
Alright, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while I paid them bills. Yes, we are back from the commercial break. And as a reminder, you can find me in the KLRNRadio.com chat room. And I do have my Twitter notifications open. And yeah, I guess today it's okay. If you really want to hit me up on Spreaker, you can. But unfortunately, I got to warn you guys, that option will be going away. Now, I tripped over something I thought was worth bringing to your attention. And this is directly from the Office of the Inspector General from the Department of State. And it was recently declassed. It had been, I believe, FOUO, for official use only. Now, it's about the Information Systems Security Officers. They're the ones who are charged with cybersecurity and protecting classified information. All right. 33% of overseas inspections reported non-performance of Information Systems Security Officer duties. The Office of the Inspector General, which will be abbreviated OIG, reviewed information management findings and reports of overseas inspections conducted from fall of fiscal year 2014 through spring of fiscal year 2016, found that 33%, 17 out of 51, reported findings of the non-performance of Information Systems Security Officer duties. Basically, they failed to perform regular reviews and analysis. They didn't audit logs, user libraries, emails, workstations, servers, and hard drives for indications of inappropriate or unusual activity. Now, what the problem was that this was a collateral duty. Because in 9 cases, which means they've got their regular stuff to do, and then, by the way, tack this on the side. This needs to be a full-time position. So what the Bureau of Information Resource Management said was they need to plan to enforce the performance of an Information Systems Security Officer overseas, and they need to make it a full-time, basically someone's entire job. So there's a lot more gobbledygook in here, but that's cutting to the heart of the matter. That people weren't doing it. And in fact, the Bureau of Diplomatic Security reported in 2016 that penetration tests successfully exploited vulnerabilities in email accounts of department personnel, as well as department applications and operating systems. The Bureau of Diplomatic Security reported that information safety security officers could have prevented such attempts through proactive monitoring process and reviews of system event logs. So, yeah. Your State Department leaks. That's what this boils down to. Your State Department leaks like a sieve, folks. And while that is some things that's semi-political, and some people would say does not belong on my show since they were discussing overseas embassies, I figured I'd bring it to you because I had a feeling nobody else would because it ain't a sexy scandal. So, alright. Berlin drug raids lead to the arrest of 4 Islamist militants. Police arrested 4 Islamists considered capable of resorting to violence in the operation to dismantle a drug trafficking ring. They also seized electronic devices, drugs, and weapons after searching 6 locations in 4 different districts of Berlin. Arrest warrants had already been issued for 3 of the suspected Islamist militants, and the 4th was to be served with one later Wednesday. Police, of course, Europe, they don't do updates. Police did not provide further details. German authorities have drawn criticism since the Daesh claimed Christmas market attack in the capital in December, when someone plowed a truck into a crowd of shoppers. So, like I said, they're stepping up, and I'm willing to bet, okay, even though I don't have the whole thing in front of me, that they're not the only country stepping up in Europe, stepping up their game. Now, let's talk about freedom of the press for just a minute. Egypt has blocked access. Yes, Egypt has blocked access to at least 21 news sites critical of the government, notably the Qatari channel Al Jazeera, Huffington Post's Arabic language site, Huffington Post Arabi, and the independent website Mada Masar. The state-run news agency MENA announced late on Wednesday that 21 websites have been blocked because they were spreading lies and supporting terrorism. The full list of sites was not provided, but MENA added that legal action against the outlets was forthcoming. Al Jazeera is partially owned by the Qatari royal family and has been frequently singled out as an enemy of the Egyptian state since the overthrow of former President Mohamed Morsi. Qatar previously backed Morsi's leadership, prompting the arrest and detention of journalists from Al Jazeera following his ousting. Mada Masar was not reportedly included on this list, but access to its site inside Egypt is currently blocked without the use of a VPN, aka a virtual private network translation software that tells your computer you're somewhere else. So, the main Mada Masar has said they thought that it was their internet was having problems. However, when they started getting reports from different places, the website was inaccessible. And editorial staff are now anticipating a raid on the publication's offices. The main focus now is to try and get the site back up online without it being blocked easily. But in the long run, I don't know what this kind of fight means for our survival. My gut feeling is that this is not the end and there's a way to carry on, but I don't know exactly what would happen. And that was from Atala, and she is part of the editorial staff of Mata Masar. So it's really interesting that Egypt is now going, nope, you can't see anything we don't approve. That doesn't sound like freedom of the press to me, kids. All right. Now, since we're over in that area, let's talk about what's going on in Syria. Yes. I've got a little bit on Syria for you. I'm just moving my show prep around. You've already heard it. So I do move around and wiggle and squirm. What can I say? I need a bigger desk. And I just got a bigger desk. The Manchester bomber was recently in Libya and possibly in Syria. Yes. No kidding. This is no joke. So, Salam Abedi wanted revenge for airstrikes in Syria. And this is according to the Manchester bomber's sister. The sister of Manchester suicide bomber Salam Abedi believes her brother carried out the attack because he wanted revenge for the U.S. airstrikes on Syria. Jomana Abedi said in an interview her brother was kind and loving and that she was surprised by what he did on Monday. And of course we know 22 were killed and 59 were gravely wounded. Abedi thought he was driven by America's military attacks in the Middle East. I think he saw Muslim children dying everywhere and wanted revenge. He saw the explosives America drops on children in Syria and he wanted revenge. Whether he got that is between him and God. So, like I said, I think it's sickening what he did. You know how I feel about terrorists? I call them out every night here on my show. So, and you have to keep in mind, this man, and yes, he's 22, so he's a man. Anyway, he called his mother just before the attack. Yes, he called his mother just before the attack. So, like I said, there's a lot going on. So, I feel for the Syrian people. Not the government. The government can go soak its head. Bashar al-Assad and his Russian cronies can go soak their collective heads. Yes, Bashar al-Assad, you can go soak your head. Now, if you think we're not going to get to quackers, I'm just not there yet. So, let's talk. We've already pretty well covered Mosul and Raqqa. Well, I got a couple more Raqqa notes. Let's get to them and we can move on. Daesh fully withdrew its members from certain regions and districts of Raqqa. The Arabic website of Sputnik news agency quoted sources as saying that Daesh has evacuated the districts of Al-Daraa, Mafraq, Al-Hashwai, and Al-Hawaj, as well as Bain al-Jisrin. They added that central parts of Raqqa City have also become empty of Daesh members. Daesh has not declared a reason for this measure. In a recent development, the western parts of some provinces on Wednesday, the predominantly Kurdish Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, continued the fourth phase on the anti-Daesh Euphrates Rage operation and were on the verge of completing the siege in Al-Ba'ath, the Al-Horai Dam. The SDF fighters engaged in a tough battle with Daesh and took control over the villages of Al-Quntaniyah, Kar Ali, Bana, Al-Furqan, and Al-Yaman, 5 kilometers northwest of the dam. The Kurdish fighters are now sealing the entire path towards Raqqa. So, like I said, they're doing good. The SDF is actually kicking tail, and they ain't taking names. Now, something else the SDF is doing, which I find rather intriguing. Yes, U.S.-backed Kurdish forces promised on Thursday no harm would come to Daesh fighters in Raqqa who turned themselves in by the end of the month, calling on them to lay down their arms ahead of an expected assault on the city. The Syrian Democratic Forces, which groups Kurds and Arab fighters, has advanced to within a few kilometers of Raqqa at the nearest point, in an offensive that got underway in November to encircle and capture the city. The SDF includes the powerful YPG militia, which is the Kurds that we support and back. Yes, the YPG are the Kurds we support and back. So, remember, there's the PKK and the YPG. There's 2 types of Kurds. The PKK are the ones in the middle of Turkey blowing crap up. What was that, Host Kitty? Oh, he doesn't like the PKK and them blowing stuff up either. No, it doesn't sound like it would be good for the fur. Alright, so the U.S.-led coalition says some 3,000 to 4,000 Daesh fighters are thought to be holed up in Raqqa where they continue to erect defenses. So this is going to be a bloody battle. However, the SDF has offered them a way out. They will guarantee the lives of the militants and the safety of their families. So the Kurdish YPG has 60,000 fighters. And they have rolled through swaths of Syria and seized it from Daesh. They have established 3 autonomous zones or cantons across Syria. And they are working on declaring a Syrian Kurdistan. You go, Kurds. Alright. Let's get to Quackers. You know he's coming. And then we've got to get to Rouhani. I'll have to come up with something for him next. Just don't expect it next show. I have to play with him and see what feels right for a while. Iran. Let's talk Iran first. It has built a 3rd underground ballistic missile factory. A 3rd. This development is likely to fuel tensions with the United States in a week when, of course, Trump is on his first foreign trip. And, of course, unless you live under a rock, you know he has called Iran a state sponsor of terror. Since taking office in January, Trump has imposed new sanctions on Iran in response to recent missile launches, putting Tehran on notice. Iran has reacted defiantly. Newly re-elected pragmatist Rouhani said on Monday Iran does not need the permission of the United States to conduct missile tests. Iran's Sunni Muslim Gulf neighbors and its archenemy Israel have, of course, expressed concerns over Tehran's ballistic missile program, seeing it as a threat to regional security. In 2015, the Iranian state TV aired footage of underground tunnels with ready-to-fire missiles on the backs of trucks, saying the facility was one of hundreds of underground missile bases around the country. And they also say it is natural that our enemies, America and the Zionist regime, aka Israel, are angry with our missile program because they want Iran to be in a weak position. 2 months after implementation of the Iran nuclear deal, the Guards test-fired 2 ballistic missiles that it said were designed to be able to hit Israel. That doesn't sound like Iran is living up to their end of the deal. They, in my mind, they tore it up. All right, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee approved the most sweeping sanctions against Iran since the United States and 5 other nations reached an agreement with Tehran in 2015. Because Iran has complied with the nuclear accord, the Senate committee had to find other reasons to impose the sanctions and link the penalties to Iran's continued support for terrorism and its human rights violations, among other concerns. But the timing of the long-planned punishment was awkward, coming right after Iranians overwhelmingly re-elected Rouhani. So the Trump administration has supported new sanctions against Iran, which were approved 18-3 by the committee and could receive a full Senate vote as early as next month. All right. South China Sea. The United States Navy. Oh yeah. Hoo-yah. Way to go, Navy. They went within 12 nautical miles of one of China's version of real-world Minecraft islands. Yes, Mischief Reef. It was a reef before it was an island, and China decided to build it up, turn it into an island, and say, it's ours, and we're putting our military on it. Now, 12 nautical miles is generally considered the legal maritime boundary. However, since we don't recognize this as an island, and China was taken to the International Court of Arbitration and told,
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yes, they were told that they don't own the entire South China Sea and to back off and buzz off. Well, they've been particularly cranktankerous. Yes, they have been very cranktankerous, what can I say? And they just don't want to play ball. They are stubborn mules. Well, China said about the International Court of Arbitration. So what? We're not listening. No, what part of we are not listening did you not get? So, one of our wonderful U.S. Navy destroyers said, we'll challenge that, of course with permission, and they ran right into the Mischief Reef area within 12 nautical miles, and China's going, get out of here, this isn't good for international relations. No, really, get out of here. So, like I said, this is going to be interesting to see how all this comes down. Got just a little bit on North Korea, and yes, I know that I am almost at the top of the hour. I am well aware of the time, kids, well aware. Just getting my show stories. U.S. lawmakers propose a ban on tourists to visit North Korea. About time, Congress! U.S. lawmakers submitted a bill Thursday to tightly restrict travel and ban tourism to North Korea, citing the risk that Pyongyang will arrest Americans for use as diplomatic bargaining chips. The North Korea Travel Control Act, proposed by Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff and Republican Joe Wilson, would block all U.S. tourist visits to the country and force other visitors to obtain permission via U.S. Treasury licensing system. The move comes, of course, with increased tensions on the peninsula. So Pyongyang has been able to use some of the U.S. Americans they've detained in the past to get former top officials, including former President Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter, to travel to the country to negotiate for the North Korean hostages, I'm going to call them, release. Well, it's about time. It is absolutely about time. And Congress launches new missile defense push as North Korea advances. President Trump reportedly told Filipino counterpart that North Korea dictator Kim Jong-un is a madman with nuclear weapons. Well, as Kim Jong-un is getting closer to have the missiles to deliver those weapons, Congress is launching a new push to dramatically expand missile defense inside the United States. It is no longer a matter of if, but when North Korea will have the capability to hit the United States with an international continental ballistic missile. Yes, Quackers wants to blow us up. And I am out of time. And on that note, folks, I will see you back here tomorrow night. And just remember, stay in the fight.
For anyone going through any type of personal battle, whether it's cancer, PTSD, depression, a personal challenge that they want to do, they want to go climb Mount Everest, you need to stay in the fight. And when I say that, I mean mentally. If you're not mentally in the fight, if you don't stay in the fight, you can't win.
All right, so on that note, just as a reminder, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV, and you can shoot me an email at the station at Jesse's POV at KLRNRadio, and of course, Jesse's POV can be found in podcast form on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Blueberry, Podcast.com, Pocket Casts, and many other places where podcasts are found. So if you've missed me live, catch me on Memorex. And on that note,